Testing, testing, testing. JB here. Hope everybody's doing outstanding. January 25th, 2024. Just going to get on for a couple minutes. Not much new to talk about. Frustrating, choppy session. If you look at the candles on the SPY, it's the almost identical trading range we had yesterday. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. We have PCE data tomorrow. GDP numbers came in well above expectations. Markets rallied. So we're sort of in a good news is good news environment for the market. Unemployment claims actually went up a little bit, so kind of a little mixed bag. And then tomorrow with the PCE data, I think as long as we get an inline number, or even if it's just a tad hotter than expectation, I think 490 on the SPY is certainly within the realm of possibility. Poor Tesla, got put on the watch list this morning. Disappointing margins, lower than expected, and then they kind of forecasted slow growth in 2024, but that was already out there. I think the big issue was their conference call. Musk kind of going on the high hanging fruit with the Optimus, the robot, talking about things outside the nuts and bolts of the business, which I think frustrate analysts, which is nothing new. I mean, if you follow Tesla for years, every analyst always complains about the conference calls and the big promises that he makes that he doesn't follow through. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't set high expectations, you're never going to reach the summit, right? If you keep setting the bar low, that's all you're going to get. So all these folks who rag on him for setting goals and not hitting them, it's kind of like it's comical, I guess you would say. But it is a publicly traded company, so when they do issue guidance and give data and forecasts, they kind of need to be within the realm of possibility and not some kind of eye in the sky kind of thing, pie in the sky, whatever you call that. So anyway, that's my little rant. Tesla, the markets. First, I'll talk about Baidu. China markets opened in the red, they were down almost 1%, rallied back into the green. I thought maybe we get some follow through again for the third day in a row on the China ADRs. Not the case so far. Baidu, it was 107, back up to 108.50. I thought maybe we get a boomerang into the green. Now we're back here pretty much right at almost flat at 108. Need a huge move tomorrow for the last couple of my calls. I'm not sure if we're going to add anything yet, but I do think Baidu gets to 120 or so in the coming weeks. So certainly a name I'll continue to watch. Spotify, again, great news, and the headlines are just starting to hit around this Apple App Store revamp in the EU, where they're going to allow companies to, they're not going to take the 30% cut on app downloads and subscriptions and things like that. Which right off the bat, you think that's great for margins for these companies that derive a lot of it from subscriptions and App Store revenue. Traditionally, 30% would go to Apple, and that's not going to be the case anymore. So I'm surprised Spotify really hasn't taken off. Some of the move yesterday I thought was in sympathy with Netflix. When you have huge sub beats from Netflix, you would think that bodes well for a name like Spotify that does, instead of doing videos, does audio. So it's a similar thing. People are devouring content, and I would think that's bullish. Spotify thought it was going to break out yesterday, kind of chopped around 214 and back down to 211. And then today up to 213 or so, and it looked like it was going to break through yesterday's highs, and then it fell right back down to 211.50. I'm hoping if you can get to 214, 215, Spotify has had some great Friday moves where it's moved 3-4% on no news. If it does that, it'll be into the 220s. If not, we'll see. I'll see how it trades, and maybe I'll wait until next week to look to add some more possible calls to play for upside. So that's Spotify. I post on Fin Twitter already. Just a great story. It's only a $1.8 billion market cap. They have $750 million in cash. They have $130 million authorized for stock buybacks. The company's growing. Their last quarter was 38% revenue, top line growth. It's just a lot of folks look at it. There's no technical moat around their business, and maybe you have some people who might be afraid that privacy concerns, right? So the big worry is a lot of folks don't want to be tracked, right? They don't like license plate scanners. They don't want to know where people are. And you has technology that maybe that at some point would put at risk people's privacy. I don't know. I mean, if you're going on a plane, people know, they're going through TSA and they know where you're going from JFK to Fort Lauderdale, whatever. They know where you're going. So I don't get that bear case. But needless to say, it's a 13-14% short interest. Bloomberg has been publishing smear pieces on Clear Secure. I just like it, especially 7 days down in a row. Yesterday, the huge call volume on those 2045 strikes. I think it heads back above 23 in the coming days. That's that. And then Burlington. So take a look at the tight Bollinger Bands. Typically, when you get a tight Bollinger Band, it precedes a large move. It could be up or down, but of course, when you're bullish a name, you would think, for me, I think Burlington's going to head to the upside. What happens? Tight Bollinger Bands happen when there's quite a few days of consolidation, so it's pretty much a tug of war. And then at some point, one of those sides gets exhausted, whether it's the selling side or the buyer side. And then once that side gets exhausted, you have a huge outsized move. It depends on the individual stock, how volatile they tend to be. But 5-10% in a week or two. That's kind of what I'm looking for in Burlington. I think it trades over 200 in the coming days. And if it does, I think it heads to 210. I was looking for some inexpensive ones, maybe 202.50s, but similar to you, tons of call volume today, 197.50s, some that are expiring tomorrow. So I figured I would just play it small. If it doesn't break out the way I want it to, I'll close those out. I'll salvage the calls. If not, I think it heads to 210, and then I'm looking at a 5-bagger. So that's kind of the thought process there in Burlington. And that's it. That's my rant. TripAdvisor hitting highs here. Hopefully it can hold its gains. 5 are so disappointing. Was it yesterday or the day before? Was it $29 right at the open? Let's see. It was the day before. And it just couldn't hold on. And there's no news, no catalyst. It's just falling in sympathy with the small caps. Hopefully I can find some bids over the next couple days, get back over 29, then over 30. My calls at one point were over 100%, or close to 100%. And then we have the reversal. VKTX, said yesterday, it's so frustrating. Worked so hard Monday and Tuesday get to close for the first time over 22, then over 23. Well, not the first time. The sixth try it got over 22 and closed over 22. And then 23 closed, and then yesterday, just out of nowhere, just sells off for no reason. But that's what happens when you play some of these biotech names, early stage, no revenues. All there is speculating on data, speculating on potential future sales, competition. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And then what happens, you have a lot of folks who can look at that and say, hey, it's an opportunity to short the stock, make some money. So that's why you see some of these volatile swings in VKTX. Some other names I'm kicking myself for, and UPB posted a couple times, but URI, right? United Rentals, you have this whole, and I talked about it on my top 5 stock for 2024 webinar. I went through so many names in infrastructure, roads, buildings, things like that would benefit by that infrastructure bill that was passed 2 years ago. And they're starting to really reap the rewards. And you look at URI, here's front and center. There's a company that, crane, all those machinery and stuff that you would need to deploy to do projects and things like that. So I'm kicking myself I missed that, but I'll continue. I'm definitely going to look for some more into the earnings season that might benefit. So that's it. That's my rant. We'll see what happens with PCE tomorrow. And then next week, Mega Cap Central. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple. I think they all report Tuesday and Thursday, or Amazon, Tuesday and Thursday. Trillions of dollars in market cap at stake, right? Or at least reporting next week. But considering a 1 or 2% move on $1 trillion, 20, 30, 40 billion swings in some of these companies, should be interesting. So that's it, folks. Hope everyone had a great day. Hopefully we get a better direction tomorrow. Some decent PC data, and marking head up to 290. Have a great afternoon. Rock and roll.